This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
Hello.
Now, I feel like I haven't done that in a while, so
Oh, and
Well,
there in the background, there we have it. We've got things happening. There's a sweatshop operation in the background, right, Nate?
Yeah, March Madness sweatshop apparently.
Hmm. Today is Monday, March 25th, and we have experienced the madness on the hardwood, in the baseball, on the diamond, and on the mat.
been a lot of madness.
this
Lots
is
of
poor man's
madness.
football season.
I
All
mean,
this
that's
is.
that's your assessment, but
That's all this is.
just because you don't revel in this like some of us do.
I don't understand. We'll get into it here in a second, but I don't understand like the joy of March Madness. I know I've met somebody who takes like the whole week off. Like, why?
If you can't understand it, you're never going to understand it, Jim.
I don't think
Right?
I'm gonna.
It's
Alex, are
just
you
so
triggered by
fun.
that?
What?
So are
I'm
you
triggered
triggered
by
by that?
that, seeing as how I took the whole week off.
Like, do you get drunk for every game?
No,
It's a slow burn, Jim. You don't have to do it for each game. You just do it throughout the day.
yeah, you just like slowly sip on some beers, occasionally start playing video poker, and you get through it.
And you break a
So,
machine twice.
Yeah, you break a machine twice. The guy tells you just to kick it, and then you're like, no, I'll probably get arrested if I do that.
am I safe to say like March Madness is background noise, but it's interesting background noise? Is that how you all look at it?
No, for me, I actually do like I think it's foreground noise.
Okay.
But it's an excuse. It's something exciting that's sports related after like the football come down, and I enjoy basketball, so that helps. That's one big thing here, Jim, is that you
Mm-hmm.
like basketball and you don't.
No.
So that's probably a giant uh step in the wrong direction for you liking March
I
Madness.
mean, I tried. Like,
Yeah,
I've watched some games through this March Madness, but like, eventually I just burn out.
that's okay. I mean, you
This
don't
is like
have
the only time for me I can watch basketballs. I know the games are going to be good. And if they're not good, it's teams that I can never watch any other time during the year.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
And if it's not good, you can typically find another game to watch.
That's fair too. That's fair.
In addition to all of the madness, this week we're going to chat about our new merchandise opportunity on display right now for those watching on YouTube. A casino trip for the madness from most of the crew. We're going to chat about what in the Shohei is going on in baseball.
That's
The
good,
podcast
Muff.
supporting a local community organization and how a dynastic run continues on the Resolite.
A what?
The Resolite, Jim,
A dynastic run on the Resolite.
continues.
Okay. Sign me up. Let's get going.
As always, thanks to all those interacting with our content on the social media. Make sure you catch us on YouTube to check out all the fun, including again the aforementioned new merchandising opportunity, aka the hat, courtesy of
Woo!
Harper and Company.
Money.
You say new merchandising. Are we selling these things?
Yep.
For now, we're giving them away. We may sell them later.
Well,
I made that up.
we have a horrible, horrible business model. Right now, we're giving them away, but soon we'll sell them.
Well, it entices you to try to get one early.
All right.
There's maybe there's a is there a set number of free hats we give away?
Limited edition. Are you signing them? Am I signing them? Is Alex signing them? Is Nate?
You can request one signature.
Not me. No one wants me to sign it.
Is Sam signing it as a chase, like one of the
Thank you.
chase ones? Limited edition.
There are no signatures yet.
All right.
Maybe something we can look forward to. Maybe for those who win the bracket challenge, which gets
Oh,
us into the conversation of the March Madness on the men's side. The high headlines from the first round start with Alex, Nate, and myself made an appearance at Wheeling Island Casino on Thursday to watch games, play some bets, and bask in the degenerate glory.
did they
It
give you
was.
the high rollers room?
No.
Did they know who you thought you were?
They
I
can
don't
tell
think.
we were. They
I
can
don't
tell we
think.
were famous.
They knew we were a group.
Okay.
As
Because they
we
left us a
interacted
spot
with
right
us.
by the beer taps.
That's also very true. We got pretty fortunate with our
Good seats.
location.
Gotcha.
We were right in the middle of the bar, right in front of the screens, right next to the beer taps, and within walking distance to the bet place counter.
All right. All right.
So real
Good
quick
job.
before we get into what happened in the first and second round on the men's side, quick update on the tourney bracket challenge on the men's side. Again, we record on Sunday night. Not all of the games have completed, but right now in first place is fellow degenerate, newly minted North Carolina degenerate, now that it is legal in the state of North Carolina, Tim, with a 99.8% correct rate.
That's good. That's good poop.
Followed in second by a host of others at 98.6%.
Well, who is SAS 517?
Somebody in an elite household
And then
It's-
KS Picks.
is listener, I'm not going to say a loyal listener, Kristen in Kentucky, still shedding tears about Kentucky's loss.
Gotcha.
Happens to me.
Gotcha. And then the next one in fifth place. Who's that?
Which that's tied with
Is
you,
that
Jim.
family? Yeah, is that your family?
That is my brother-in-law.
Gotcha. So the top five,
Well, Jake's not going to be in the top 5 for much longer.
yeah, he going down. All right. Top five looks good. Promising.
That is our update on the men's side. Let's get through some of the highlights of the first and second round on the men's tournament, starting with Dayton making a historic comeback, down 17 points with 7 minutes to go. Ultimately, they make the comeback, winning 63-60 over Nevada and giving Alex and I a cash opportunity with our bets.
True.
So that was one of the games we watched all the way through on Thursday at the casino, and it
Mhm.
was pretty exciting for us as well as everyone around us, it seemed.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody was real into that game. That and the Duquesne game, everybody was real into that.
Yeah. And that was kind of like what made being in that atmosphere fun. You could tell other people were in it.
Except for the guy behind us who's taking a snooze on the couch.
Oh, yeah. There was one dude, older dude, who just KO'd. He'd probably been at that casino for hours.
He may or may not have also been betting on the dogs and anything else that was on any type of simulcast situation.
Every once in a while, every once in a while just was out cold.
Yep. He wasn't as excited as the rest of the group. Next to January, February, Izzo continued despite many that were against the Spartans getting the bid to the tourney as the Spartans win their first round matchup. The Duquesne Dukes took advantage of their first appearance since the 1970s with a first round win against BYU. And then, in the academic side, an all-time message from a professor who told his students not to worry about class Friday, go out and celebrate it, and he quote unquote would figure it out.
Would you do the same, Professor Muff?
No, not for a first round win.
Oh, okay. All right.
Even if your school hasn't been in it since the 70s.
Only if I was alive the last time they were in it and I understood the gravity of the situation.
So on that Rate Your Professor app, keep that in mind, folks. Professor Muff ain't giving you a day off for a first round win.
Don't take his classes.
If I'm showing up the next day, you're all showing up.
You're
the next
showing
day.
up for the next day. That's fair. That's fair.
But you get the day off if they get the day off.
Exactly. So if I'm
Workers
showing
work.
up, they're showing up.
Workers
gotta
work,
go.
Muff. Teach them.
They gotta
Learn
figure it
them
out.
up.
You can
Learn them up.
you can go out and celebrate, but you may still have responsibilities the next day.
Responsibilities.
It's no fun.
Jack Gilkey took the early lead for Cinderella Story as the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland took down Kentucky in the first round, putting into question if Calipari should continue as the head coach in Lexington. Gilkey hit 10 threes and had an amazing stat line of only shooting 8 2-pointers all regular season compared to 347 3-point attempts.
I think I saw a shot map of like all of his 2-pointers, and I want to say like 3 or 4 of them were just like basic rebound put back up.
Yeah, I think there was only one outside of like the immediate area of the basket, and it reminded me of Super Troopers, where they're like, that little guy, I wouldn't worry about that little guy. It's like an outlier. But that's pretty.
I feel nothing.
You feel nothing. Well, you didn't watch that game. Neither did I, if I'm being honest. But
I watched that game. It was good.
I think I only watched the end of it just to see the upset.
I should say I was working on lights in the theater, and I had it on my phone, like propped up.
We swear, folks, we are a sports podcast and we truly care.
What's sport?
NC State continues their run after winning the ACC tourney, dispatching of Texas Tech in an 11 seed to 6 seed upset.
Called this one. I was really proud of that. I felt like
I wouldn't call this one an upset, even though the numbers say it is.
yeah.
NC State was so hot coming out of that ACC tournament.
That's what I was gonna say. That's why I felt good about it. Well, we're not talking about the second round yet.
We're not there yet. We're not
I
there yet.
almost did a spoiler.
Spoiler for anybody who hasn't been watching, which if you're listening to a sports podcast, I'm assuming you have some
Probably know what
understanding.
happened.
Yeah. On Tuesday.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Yale took out Bruce Pearl and Auburn, again showcasing that smart kids are able to figure it out. And the internet had their fun as Yale Molecular Biophysics and Biochemistry Twitter account at Yale MBB kept getting the mentions, while the at Yale M basketball account was not getting as much love. That's pretty funny that they actually tweeted out, hey, everybody, this is definitely not who you're trying to get to. Here's the basketball account.
Apparently, all those smaller people are at Yale and not fans of Yale.
There we go. Also in this matchup, Yale's band wasn't able to make the trip to Spokane, Washington. So the University of Idaho took their place, learned the music, and supported Yale in the win.
Stepping up for the smart kids. Way to go, Idaho.
Hey, maybe they'll get some residual from this. Maybe. Colorado goes from play-in winner to tournament game winner, taking out Florida in a high-scoring affair, 102 to 100. Alex, this was a Friday. Alex and Nate, this is a Friday night game that we watched. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
This one felt very much like a Mountain East Conference game.
Yeah. Lots of scoring.
Hey, yeah.
James Madison gets a tourney win, but it was on the hardwood and not on the football field as they take down Wisconsin in the first round.
I feel like this hurt my bracket. Feel like that's what did it for me.
What did you have Wisconsin doing?
I'm making it out of this round.
Making 8. Well, I don't think one game's going to hurt you that bad, Jim.
Still hurts, Muff.
No, but I feel like this is one of those ones where a lot of brackets were busted pretty early, but based on the Oakland game.
I feel kind of bad because I don't know if you guys were still there or if you'd left at the time that the guy sitting next to me was like he's like, I'm gonna bet money line James Madison. I was like, oh, I don't know if I do that. Wisconsin looked kind of good in the Big Ten tournament and the end of the Big Ten season.
You guys left Alex behind?
Not at the casino.
No, not at the casino.
I was like, that's not okay.
Alex was staying around where we were on Friday night for longer than any of us wanted to, I think.
I really should not be unsupervised in a casino.
No. Not at all.
I mean, even supervised.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon has the obligatory 12-5 upset in the first round, taking out St. Mary's College.
I didn't call that one.
The West Coast Conference champion. All right, getting into the second round of the men's tournament, Gonzaga.
I love college basketball in this group of people. We're like, this happened, and we're like, yeah, all right.
Well, I already know that you don't have much to say
That's
on
what I
any of
mean,
this.
like, yeah.
So I'm looking for some of the other two that I knew were keeping up with the games. Gonzaga put Kansas out of their misery, albeit without one of Kansas's top scorers, moving on to the Sweet 16 with an 89-68 win on Saturday.
That was an ass whooping in the second half.
That most definitely was.
And then did anybody else see the Bill Self's press game or post game press conference?
I didn't watch it.
Apparently, he was quoted on saying something like, "Yeah, I was already looking forward to next season."
That's good.
Like before the loss, he was like, "Yeah, coming down the stretch, we didn't play really well, so I've already been looking ahead to next season."
Oof, rough.
Like, good quote, coach.
Yeah, that makes you look kind of douchey. The that game was weird because it really was such a good game until halftime. Like I watched the first half of that game and it was back and forth, and it ended. The halftime was tied, and I don't know what happened in the second half because I was driving to the venue, but
Venue.
it hit the
Why are we
shade.
not
Venue.
saying the place? Oh, do we not want to sponsor this place? Do we not
Oh,
want
I
to?
don't know. That was for Sam's fundraising event.
Oh, okay.
No, I went to the Dirty. We were at the Dirty Dog Friday, Dirty Dog Tavern, West
Gotcha.
Liberty.
I feel like you guys are in some back alley the way you guys are talking.
Well, I mean, in all of these, except for the casino. Well, the casino, not the most pleasant part of
Hold up.
wheeling.
What do you mean?
All right, moving on.
North Carolina puts Izzo's season to bed, taking down the Spartans in the second round. January, February, no longer Izzo.
I did watch that. The sales just came out from underneath Michigan State. It's just like they petered out. Izzo afterwards was like, "I will make it deeper into the tournament, or I will die trying." Like that was one of his quotes. North Carolina, they had a great like fan presence. I couldn't tell you like I'm sure there's X's and O's that somebody will come in and be like, "This is what happened that made it change." I couldn't tell you why the momentum shifted, but you could see the air just go woof right out of Michigan State in this game. So if you guys watched it, please enlighten me. But it happened.
That was another
I
one.
mean, like you said, with the fan presence there, Jim, they were playing this game in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they came alive, but like Michigan State had them on the ropes. I think 11 points at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden,
That was early in that game. Yeah, it was.
but
And
it
then
could have lasted forever the way they were playing. Like there was no reason for it to stop, and it stopped.
well, it's because Armando Bacot, RJ Davis, and in this case, Ingram started to take over because those were the top scorers for the team on the day.
Right.
That's the veteran presence started to step up for North
I
Carolina.
guess so.
NC State gets an unexpected second round matchup against Oakland and takes advantage, beating the Golden Grizzlies 79-73, ending the Oakland Cinderella story before it really even gets started.
I'm kind of rooting for NC State.
They were not a Cinderella, according
Oakland,
to Golke.
according to
He
Golke,
specifically said we aren't a Cinderella as he's walking away from his thing. He's like, we're here, we intend to win. Like we came expecting to win that game. That's why we're in the tournament.
That's right. He can go jack as Golke.
Yeah.
Creighton moves into the Sweet 16 with a double overtime thriller, taking out Oregon 86-73.
Only I had the willpower to stay up that late to watch it.
Right.
Yeah, I did
1 or
not.
2 a.m. No, thank you.
When did Creighton last like win a tournament? Do we know?
Win tournament games.
Like not
When
when
they go on a
tournament
run?
games, win. Yeah. Because I feel like they're always in the tournament.
Yes, they typically are like a first weekend story, and then they fade out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm like. Maybe I kind of want them to. They have 23 appearances in the NCAA tournament. But you know what I mean? Like I feel like they're one of those teams that's always there and people are like excited about it, and then it's like, meh.
I mean, you're not wrong. That's pretty much how it's gone.
They reached the second weekend of the NCAA Division One men's basketball tournament for the first time in 2021.
So 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like they've ever won it.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Purdue survived the first weekend, beating Utah State on Sunday. Zach Edey is large. Zach Edey is tall. He's the reason that they made it through the weekend.
Yeah.
And
He was
of
like, all
discussion.
scratched up and banged up, and he's like, I don't understand why people just attack me. I'm like, because you're big and they don't know how else to stop you.
Yes, that's kind of like the Jokic always has scratches on him.
Yeah.
Very similar thought in my mind.
They're just
All
attempting to take you down in some way.
right, games are going on right now. Well, real quick, we have final updates since we started. Clemson Baylor. Clemson wins 72-64 for a 6-3 upset in the second round. Live look in a couple games. We got Alabama over top of Grand Canyon 38-30. And UConn taking it to Northwestern 35-14 with about 2 minutes to go in the first half. Upcoming games on Sunday, either during or after recording: Texas A&M Houston and Yale San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts on the men's side?
I'm rooting for Yale tonight.
I think UConn is definitely dominating and showing why they're the betting favorite to win it right now. I'd say them in North Carolina are truly playing like ones, and I guess you can say Purdue is too. But I mean, I just am curious of if Zach Edey were to somehow get in foul trouble, what would Purdue look like?
Small.
Small.
Small is about the only good option I have for that. I don't know. I really don't know, Nate. I don't know what they look like.
Because I watched that game, well, at least the first half of it when it was close, and dude had a double at the half.
Yes. I think Utah State had somebody in foul trouble that was attempting to guard him. And after that person was forced to the bench, it created a lot of opportunity for Zach Edey. I think he was even more dominant than he typically is, or at least what they expected given who was supposed to be guarding him.
Yeah, I didn't pay that close attention, so I'll take your word for it.
There we go. Jim, any other thoughts on the men's side?
Nope.
All right. Moving to the women's side, the tourney that Caitlin Clark, Bayou Barbie, HVL, Cameron Brink, Paige Bukers, and Dawn Staley built. Quick tourney bracket challenge update. All people that I do not know, aside from Jim in the top 5.
Yep.
So King Raw, Brooke. Well, we have an SSJM bracket in there. I put one together that was entirely chalk. All of the top seeds were winning, and that is in second place right now.
What? Oh.
I hear devil.
It was sounded so scary. It's like,
Sorry, guys.
It was just out of nowhere.
My child came in to
I thought we had
bring
an unannounced special guest appearance.
we did, and then she left.
And she
Oh.
left.
I thought she was gonna give us her bracket thoughts.
Well, they could have.
What does she think about the women's side of the bracket, Jim?
She would say Ohio State, but she doesn't know that they lost.
Well, don't break her heart tonight.
I
Wait till
know.
tomorrow. The
I
tomorrow
know.
problem. In the first round, Middle Tennessee took out Louisville in an 11-6 upset to destroy a storyline second round matchup between HVL LSU potentially going up against her former team. South Carolina destroyed Presbyterian 91-39, but did not cover the 55.5 point spread.
Yeah, that did not happen.
Remember, great teams cover.
I don't know what you do there. Like that's it's a lot of parody. A lot of parody there. LSU has a bit of a battle against Rice, but comes away with a 70-60 win. But there is a story off the court with the Tigers as head coach Kim Mulkey is calling out an alleged upcoming story that has had reporters ask former players to speak negatively about her and the program.
I believe there's no reason for her to comment on this. I don't know why she took that moment to comment on it. I think that was stupid, and I think
it makes it look like she did do stupid stuff, and now she's trying to mute it.
Yeah, I think she.
Or that she's more worried about that than playing the game.
Yeah, that was a goof.
I'm not a huge fan of hers, to be honest, and I think this is. I don't know if this is my typical old man on the porch.
No, I think you're okay here.
Yeah, like I kind of wanted Rice to upset him.
No, I was okay with Rice not upsetting them. I wanted them to get trounced by South Carolina. That's what I wanted.
They still can.
They lost.
Who did?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Neither South Carolina nor LSU have lost.
Oh, my fault. My fault. I'm mixing my streams. My fault.
Don't mix streams. Never.
My fault.
Virginia Tech put a whooping on Marshall, 92-49.
Yeah.
But Alex, at least you can find solace that you have a family member that'll be repping Marshall on the track program next year.
Yes. My cousin got committed to Marshall University to run track and cross country.
Here we go.
We never thought there would be a Frank that ever ran track or cross country, let alone Division I. So
awesome. Congrats.
Shout out.
Congrats, buddy.
But girls basketball team got trounced.
Alex, in fact, was watching that game and then said, no, we cannot put this on the screen anymore.
Yeah, I had it on. I was like all excited. I'm like, yeah, we're in a little like West Virginia bar. We'll be rooting for Marshall. And I was like, this is embarrassing. We're turning this off.
That's fair.
No one needs
Iowa State made a comeback thanks to Allie Crooks, who dropped 40 on Maryland as Iowa State took the W 96-86.
Talk about not having an answer.
Oh, not even slightly. She was dominant when she decided to go.
Is this the game she got pissy in?
Jim, explain what this means.
Oh, did you say Iowa or Iowa State?
Iowa State.
My fault. Next one.
next was Iowa.
Iowa took on Holy Cross, a team that Barstool's Dave Portnoy made a $100,000 bet to cover in their play-in game. Not in this game, but in their play-in game, and he was victorious. In this game, though, Caitlin Clark shook off a slow start and her father telling her to shut up, and they win their opening round game against Holy Cross.
I don't think there's a reason. I'm going to be the guy that. I'm okay with her getting pissy.
Why?
We're okay with it when it happens with other people.
I'm not. I feel like I'm pretty across the
I'm
board.
okay with it to an extent. When you're going out for a timeout and you're whining to an official or you're yelling with your dad in the stands, it makes you look like an ass.
It's the consistency at all times for me. Like,
And then you headbutt the damn ball. Come on.
Oh, that was stupid.
it's
But
whenever
I think
it's when
stupid from a parental standpoint. Like I say, protect your head at all times. So like that's where I think it's stupid.
the
But
basketball's a foreign object that can create damage.
you always protect your head. Ask my girls. I'll march them both in here. You protect your head at all times.
Is this a theme in the Compton household? There's an
Yes.
issue.
You yes.
To be honest, I've seen his kids in action. I feel like it probably hit their heads a lot.
Yes.
Not because of the way they act, but like just the chaos.
Yes. You protect that head at all times.
It's for me, and I saw this in the Big Ten championship game, which is where I started to see it, and then I saw it spill over into the first round game. It seemed like every time there was a stop in action, every time anybody even got close to her, it seemed like it was an issue that she
Yes.
had to speak about and had to talk about and had to make some type of reaction, whether it was with her hands, with her, turning away. It was like everything should go her way because she's Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, to me, I don't even care so much about her personal like whatever on the floor, but it was every single time there was a stoppage play, there literally was like a coach assigned to go like wrangle her back into the huddle, and I'm like, come on, be with your team, like just act right. That's it, act right. That's my new motto for life: act right.
Alex put that one into play. W was able to complete like the Harvard of West Virginia, beating Princeton 63-53 on Saturday. Alex?
Woo! We are rolling into town. We're rolling to blow Caitlin Clark out of town. I'm pretty sure
W
that's what
does
the
take
coach-
on Iowa in the second
Something-
round.
Yes, something to that effect. They play tomorrow at 8 p.m. for all of those interested.
Monday at 8 p.m.
Yes, today at 8 p.m.
in Iowa. North Carolina State took care of Chattanooga, but that was not the story in this game. The story was that official Tommy Paris was removed at halftime of the game after not reporting earning a master's degree from Chattanooga, which is a
Yeah.
conflict of interest.
I don't know how you Nate, you could step in here. I don't know how you not bring that up.
Well, that's what we were talking about when we saw the headline come up. It's like you would think that the NCAA or whatever officiating organization you're a part of would have a little bit of sense of your background, like where you're from, where you went to school,
Like they would vet you.
like what's your significant other's name, things like that. But then they said in the article that I read that this Tommy Paris did not disclose she has a master's degree from this school. So again, to me, it's kind of on both parties here. But to finally, like, I want to know, how did they discover this and then say, oh, at halftime, we got to get you out of here?
Yeah, that was a fuck up. Bigly.
Yeah. I would expect, I think, as Nate was saying, that like this is just part of information they have on file already. And then they just have to confirm it.
So that's like for us, for the high schools, like one of the guys in my crew, his wife works as an athletic director at one of the high schools, so we automatically scratch that school no matter what. Now, if we get assigned that school in the playoffs, I mean, that's based on the state assigning it. The local board won't assign it in regular season play. And then same thing, like when I first started, I would not do Friday nights at my old high school because either I still knew kids that were friends with my brother or kids that I like not grew up with or watched grow up and stuff that had a family connection with them. So now it's like, okay, I have no idea who these kids are. I of course know some of the coaches that have been there forever, but now it's not as much as a conflict of interest, but you can look at it as that way, but it's not like anything like that where we have one guy whose son was a starting quarterback at another school, so he obviously couldn't do one of their games. So it's just little things like that that you would think makes common sense. So I don't know how this slips through the cracks at all.
Dumb.
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 Dum, 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 dum.
Into the second round, South Carolina rolls over North Carolina, making the Sweet 16. Duke gets the 7-2 upset over Ohio State. Jim, Columbus have any feelings towards this? You personally have any feelings towards this?
I hate it. I'm upset for the girls. I think that they should have gotten a lot more respect during the year than they did, especially given Ohio State's bullshit that they sucked most of the year and they got no coverage. I'm sad that they got upset. And now it's like you have fans saying, what are you moving your head around? Ohio State's basketball team sucked for half the year.
Men's basketball team sucked for half
Correct.
the year.
Correct.
This is the women.
Hold on. This is what I'm saying. Because the men's team sucked in Columbus, it was like, well, they suck. We need to fix this, blah, blah, blah. They got all the attention of the Columbus media, and the girls got nothing. I was hoping that the girls would at least make it out of the second round, and like Columbus would be amped, but they lost to Duke in an upset, and now it's like, well, Ohio State girls choke every year. Ohio State girls suck. Like, kiss their ass, man. They beat Iowa. We're going to forget about that.
Nobody cares unless you win the last game of the season, Jim.
I know.
Unfortunately, in this case.
I know.
LSU recovers from a lackluster first half that saw HVL get benched to start the second half, but they come back to beat Middle Tennessee 83-56. And apparently in the post-game presser, Flo J promoted her new song in the press conference after the win.
And this is why I want LSU to lose. I'm sorry. I will say I see LSU losing in the next round because of, I mean, it's 2 games now. They've started off slow. I think you start off slow against a team that's not Middle Tennessee or Rice, and you're done.
I can't argue against him.
No, I don't. Well, if in the Elite Eight, they'll find Iowa if they continue, if both continue down this path. So that's a potential pre-Final Four matchup that is going to be interesting. Baylor, Virginia Tech, live look in. Baylor's winning 30-26. And the last game on the slate for Sunday is Iowa State, Stanford with a 10 p.m. Eastern tip. Now, we've talked about this, at least the Ohio Valley gents and some of our comings and goings over the past weekend, but the schedules for both the men's and women's leave something to be desired as far as the times.
Oh, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's because we're spoiled Eastern time zone people.
Yeah.
And that could be part of it. But there were, what was it, Nate? 11:30, 12 tip in the mountain time zone, which would have been 10 a.m. local time
we were
for
saying,
them.
yeah, we were saying on Saturday, the first game that tipped off was in Salt Lake City at like 12:15 Eastern, which would have been like 10:15 in the morning there. Meanwhile, the last game of the night, that Oregon Creighton game that went double OT, tipped at almost 10 p.m. local time in Pittsburgh. Why don't that make that the early game? Like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be an athlete and start my games at 10 p.m.
Or 10 a.m.
I mean, if I had my choice, I'd give me 10 a.m., not 10 p.m. And
Compared to the two.
I'm sitting around all day. Sure, I'll have like a morning shoot around, but still, it's like You're sitting around all day. You know your game's not going to start on time with these tournament games.
Yeah, they all get bumped.
Oh, I agree. It's a fair point.
Gotta figure it out. We gotta figure this out. I don't know if I just don't remember it being this much of an issue in my mind in the past.
No, I mean, to me, it's like, not to get off topic, but like the Super Bowl used to be always like 8:30 at night on the East Coast. And it's like, by the time that game's over, you're talking like midnight, almost 1 a.m., depending on commercials, injuries, timeouts, whatever. And finally they'll go, hey, let's move this game up to 6:30.
Maybe we're getting old.
That too.
Could be part of it. Anything else on the women's tournament, which will continue their second round into Monday, as Alex has mentioned?
Nothing
Nope.
for me.
I actually have. I like that this year. I'm excited about watching the women's tournament as well.
It is getting a lot more promotion.
Yeah, like before I really had no idea like who was in it, who was playing this, that, the other, and now I have a I don't know, I have an interest in it beyond just like if WVU is playing.
Good. Jim, Ohio State's out. Do you still want to watch?
The women's tournament?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, that moves us out of basketball, which means Jim will now refocus and want to get engaged in the conversation.
Yes.
And we're
I'm
going to
trying.
start with if there's any update in Jim's professional football fandom.
There's not. I'm still waiting for things to shake out. There's some movement on the Ohio State category because players are moving around, and I'm still trying to, rank cheerleaders, but that's where I'm at.
When you say ranking cheerleaders, how are you ranking cheerleaders?
On their abilities, on their athletic prowess, on their dedication to be out there in the cold, on their ability to rile their fan base, etc., etc.
You watching a lot of video?
Lots of tape. Scouting reports.
Using a 1 to 10 factor? What kind of
That's
ranking?
why I'm really. I think I'm going to rank them 32 and down. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's fair.
Okay. Nobody trying to buy your fandom? No new suitors?
No new buyers yet. No.
Jim
No
can be
bribes.
bought.
I can be bought. That is absolutely true.
Jim can be bought in this case. All right, before we get into other interesting news in sports,
Interesting news in sports.
Sam, is there anything you want to chat about the Junior League fundraising event? Anything of note? Nate was a winner.
Nate was a winner. Well, okay, so actually I was a winner. It was
Don't tell the
my
world
ticket.
this.
The truth comes out.
We knew
It
this
was-
last night.
It was my ticket. I only put one in, hoping to win it for you guys, and I did. But then I couldn't announce myself as the winner, so we said that it was Nate.
What did Nate win?
Nate won a 12-pack of Miller Lite,
Woo!
$100 gift card to DeCarlo's in downtown,
Ooh.
a $20 TJ's gift card, a free round of golf at a golf course,
Woo!
a free axe throwing session,
Nice.
and 4 tickets to Saints and Sinners party on the Plaza in July.
What the hell is that?
So it's the organization that I'm in, and they have a summer event. It's outside. It's a ticketed event where it's kind of just like food and drink vendors, and then they have a couple of Pittsburgh-based bands come in and play.
Oh, good. Cool.
So you won tickets to an event you don't have to pay for anyway, Nate?
Well, no, you do have to pay for tickets for this event. So now
Do
I don't
you?
have to. Nope, I got 4 tickets. I don't have to
No.
pay for shit.
Before, would you had to?
Yes, I would have had to.
Okay.
Oh, good job.
All right. You do get the 4 free tickets now. Sweet.
But-
Anything of note coming from the event last night, Sam?
It was fantastic. I'm so glad that you guys came and hung out with us. We raised lots of money, which was cool, and our band was awesome. And I'll expect the sports stuff guys to be there again next year.
I danced a lot. Almost.
And
fell
my
off.
mom absolutely loved Alex. So
What mom doesn't though?
This is hot
Honestly.
news.
I
Alex and I were on the dance floor together, and we were dancing to Get Low.
We were.
It was really fun.
Alex, didn't you come back to the table at one point and told us all you received your first lap dance?
Yeah, but I sat backward on the chair because I got nervous. So there really was much action.
Shout out Zach Attack.
The Jim, there was another prize basket.
Yes.
And this prize basket included a Brazilian blowout. Do you know what a Brazilian blowout is? What would be your guess?
Is that a wax job?
I feel like Jim needs all of the context clues that were available at the time because Alex, I think you're slanting this slightly.
It said a
Not really.
$3 Brazilian blowout.
It said as the lead-in, I forget what
Self-care.
the name. It was the company or the not the company, but the shop, which was something hair donates a Brazilian blowout. So Jim, with those context clues, what would you say?
I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a wax job.
Okay. You and Alex are on the same page, which is incorrect.
Thank you. Apparently, it is not. A Brazilian is a Brazilian wax job down there. And I just learned about that this past week. Now,
you just learned about the wax job?
I knew that people did it, but like I didn't know, like when people said they got a Brazilian, I didn't really know like the details.
Gotcha.
But someone was educating me.
So the blowout part is
I thought it sounded, oh, that sounds scary. But apparently that's just
extra.
Your actual hair.
Oh,
the top of
blowout
your head
part
there.
they go up top.
Yeah, so then they tried to explain it to me like it was getting your hair blow dried, and I was like, so "You're paying $300 to get your hair blow dried?"
No.
Gotcha.
So it is special shampoo, conditioner, and like treatments that they use. And they stick it all on and they blow out your hair like 18,000 times with the hair dryer. And it just keeps your hair like straight, no frizz. When it first came out, and it might still like had a ton of formaldehyde in it. And my aunt gets them. So that's why we say that she's a little flighty, because the formaldehyde went to her head.
Sam,
If it was me, that would have been a traditional Brazilian with a leaf blower.
That's what I was thinking. Something like a super, like a ray gun or something. Like, blow. It just blows everywhere.
No, you finish the traditional Brazilian, and then to cool off and to make things easier, you get a
You get
fucking leaf blower.
They blow all the like hair shavings away.
Yeah. It's very soothing.
Yeah,
Alex thought it was like in your car.
Next thing you hear, you go.
Sam, anything else that you want to tout from the evening?
Wait, Sam's sister's quote was about the Brazilian blowout that it's, quote, life-changing, end quote.
That was a quote.
I bet it is.
That was a quote at the table.
I feel
Which
like
one,
Sam's
mine or
mom,
theirs?
Sam's mom got an interesting first impression of me because that was the first conversation that I had with her.
I hung out with them today, and my mom was like, Alex is just so funny. I just loved Alex.
I think I was just being natural. I think I was just acting natural.
Alex is the person you bring to mothers. I am not, which is why I did not participate.
Every time I came to the table, because I was the chair of the event, so I was very, very busy.
Not surprised.
And every time I came, it just turned into a roast of me.
That did
like
happen.
every time I walked to the table.
I mean, you supplied enough ammunition and gas for that fire, aka the pad project.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna get sports, or is this gonna turn into
Yeah,
Sam roast?
are we?
It has a lot to do with
Hey, you all started with the Brazilian blowout.
it has a lot to
I'm
do with
just-
feminine hygiene.
All right, so Shohei Ohtani,
Japanese, not Brazilian.
Why you call him a hoe?
he wired 4.5 million to a bookie to cover his translator's debt, kind of, maybe.
All right, that was Jim's way of saying "Muff, take it away."
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani, in an interesting and continuously evolving situation, is
Evolving in
situation
terms of like
is
keeping
interpreter-
his Chinese ass out of trouble.
We'll see. His interpreter was involved in an illegal gambling operation that required about $4.5 million of Ohtani's money to settle up whatever was happening.
Interpreter got in too deep.
Well,
to Ohtani. Ohtani
there's-
said, "I bail you out,"
yes, that's how it started.
and then found out later that it was against the rules to bail
No.
him out.
No, that's not true. That may
That's
be
their
some.
story.
It's not against anybody's rules.
It's
They-
against. It is against the MLB's rules
To what?
to wire a bookie money.
I
You
don't think
cannot give bookie money.
I do not think the bookie was ever wired the money. I don't think that has ever been stated.
It has been stated.
No. By whom? Because that's not any story I've read.
Okay.
The story initially was that Mizuhara
Uh-huh.
that Ohtani had transferred funds to him to cover a gambling debt that was part of a bookmaker who is under federal investigation.
And how could he have transferred money in California where it's illegal? He had to have transferred those funds.
To his interpreter, who then transferred it to the bookmaker, Jim.
Not how that went down.
You know this?
Not how that. Yes,
You have the FBI records?
Without putting myself in issue, not how that went down. 100 and a gajillion% not how that went down. No.
Okay. So there was a discussion in the clubhouse to the original fact that Mizuhara was involved in this, and as a Dodgers employee, they were talking about it. ESPN also had an interview set up by Ohtani's camp with Mizuhara that was about to be released late last week. Then, all of a sudden, the reports changed as Ohtani's reps reported that the $4.5 million had been stolen from him and not a gift to cover the gambling debts.
Once he realized his ass was in a sling. Because logistically, fuck it. I'm in that kind of mood. Here we go. Logistically, okay, for me, like Muff, you get a gambling debt, right? Logistically, for me to give you $4.5 million is an extra step on anybody's terms. And I would have to then report it again. Hook or crook. Federal government's going to want to know, why did I give you $4.5 million for then you to give somebody else $4.5 million? And that's going to throw so many red flags that Shohei does not want. So he paid it for him to at least avoid that.
Your sources are?
My profession.
I understand that's what you speculate happened, but that is not come into
That's
play
just common. That's just common sense, my dude. Like, there's no. I would bet the farm on it. There's no way that he sent money to send money. Anybody in their right mind, private banker, his agent, anybody. If not, he needs to fire a bunch of fucking people.
Jim, his lawyers have accused the interpreter of being the person who stole the money.
Because he'll get suspended. You have to do that. You have to now, like, your spin master has to come in and be like, uh-oh, he done goofed, so that he doesn't get suspended.
But this is the easiest thing for the federal government to prove or disprove this statement.
Correct. You
Then
can
why
now
would
go in and say, he had access to Shohei's money.
Mhm.
He sent the wire. That was not Shohei, because he's a private client of any financial institution. So he made the call to said bank. He initiated said wire. It was never Shohei. Shohei had nothing to do with it. Like, logistically, that's how they're going to say it played out now to avoid suspension.
That's how they're going to say.
Yes.
That old buddy stole it, but it never got to him. He did it through Ohtani's accounts.
Yes.
So he had access to Ohtani's accounts, and that's how he stole it.
Yes.
Okay.
1 gajillion%.
And that's against MLB guidelines because
you cannot, according to the MLB, pay a bookie. Even if it's just, then that's why it's ridiculous. Like, and I side with Shohei in terms of there should be extenuating circumstances where he goes before the MLB and goes, listen, I like my interpreter. I gave my interpreter $4.5 million because he was in trouble. I understand it's the rule, but I didn't pay for a bet. I paid to get him out of trouble. Let's be reasonable human beings here.
There's got to be some sort of investigation to back that up.
Correct.
Well, it's a federal investigation.
Well, and then
It's going to
saw
come
a little
out.
bit ago, before we started recording, it said Monday afternoon, Shohei's going to have a press conference.
And that's what really needs to happen. But because the MLB is the MLB, and like it's a sports institution, they're worried about blowback of like our star paid a bookie. It's against our rules. That's black and white. Well, yeah. It's circumstances. The man can't speak as well as English. His interpreters can. His interpreter got in trouble, took advantage of Shohei. Spin it that way.
There it is. From the financial
Do we also
institution's
find
mouth.
it fishy? I think I mentioned this to Muff yesterday. It's like, do you find it fishy now that Shohei deferred this big contract?
Like he
Remember he signed
Yeah.
this deal with
Yeah.
10-year, however, $100 million, and he said, "Oh no, we'll defer it. So I want to get paid $2 million this year and $2 million next year."
I mean, I think he's got so much money coming in from other contracts for promotion with other. I mean, from his home country as well. I don't think having that money right away was necessary. I think this is like, oh, this is my retirement money. Like I can blow money now because 10 years down the road, I'm gonna be getting
Correct.
hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what
Correct.
I think.
I think 4.5 to him is
Oh, it's jump change.
a drop in a bucket.
That's one of those things he's not even going to notice it unless somebody brings it up to him.
Right.
Like we would notice it, obviously, but he's not going to as much.
And like from a very personal standpoint, like Muff, you can't speak very well. I've been your guy for years. But on the side, I've been fucking up. And I come to you and I'm like, Muff, I fucked up. Like, bag, can you bail me out? If you have it within your resources, you're gonna be like, yeah, I'll bail you out. Like 4.5 ain't shit to me. I would do the same for you. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if I was that level, I'd probably bring my lawyer in.
exactly, because you're Muff. Like, right,
Hey, anything we need to think about here?
right. He's thinking, yeah, you're my dude.
Oh yeah. Just wire the money to him, and then he can figure it out. It was a gift.
That's how it should have been.
What'd
Like,
you give-
I'm
what'd you
giving
give
you
him
a
the
gift
gift?
for a new house,
What'd you
bud.
give him the gift for? He said he needed some money. He didn't tell me why.
You didn't tell me why. That's what should have went down.
Hook me up to the lie detector test. We're good to go.
Yep.
So if I do something nefarious, need to borrow money from Muff, don't tell him why I need it because he might get hooked to a lie detector.
Why do you think Muff's my guy?
Because he won't ask questions.
Because Muff thinks out all the angles.
We just gotta think about it.
Yep.
Think for 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Unless the gun's to your head, we have time to think. Always
Yep.
remember that.
All right, play this out with Muff.
All right. Any other thoughts on the Shohei situation?
Hey.
Do we think this reaches a quick end, at least from the baseball perspective? This federal investigation could go on for months, if not years.
I think it wraps up before the season starts.
Season has already started, Jim.
I mean, before.
In fact, they played 2 games abroad. Did anybody realize this? Aside from me,
Yeah.
Nate, and Alex? Jim, did you know that baseball already started?
No, I thought we were still in spring.
2 regular season games.
No,
Oh yeah, and then they come back to spring training.
we're good now. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, buddy. How do you visit her?
That was a cute special guest.
Don't tell her the Ohio State lost.
I'm not. All right, go to bed. I did not know the season started.
Yeah, there were 2 games. Where were they, Nate? Japan?
They were both in South Korea.
Oh, South Korea. That's correct.
Did they really count then?
Yeah.
Who played?
Padres and the Dodgers.
Utani right before he goes abroad. Figures it out.
Fair enough.
Up next, the Penn State Nittany Lions, under leadership of Cale Sanderson, take their 11th national team title on the wrestling mat in the last 13 years with 4 individual champions, 2 second-place finishers, 1 third-place finisher, and 1 fifth-place finisher, while setting a new team points record. Carter Starachi and Aaron Brooks become the 6th and 7th wrestlers in NCAA history with 4 individual titles. All impressive things. But the reality is, how long do we think this dynasty will continue?
Oh shit. So there's so many more storylines. It's amazing. The wrestling tournament. This dynasty will go on for a long time. It's long as Kale's there.
Mhm.
That's
One.
what I was gonna say.
Two, to have 2 4-time champions, amazing,
One is, I mean,
unbelievable. The scoring changes that they've done at the college level has made it a lot more fun to watch.
I agree.
Starachi coming back from whatever injury that he's not going to tell us because he's going to the Olympic trials to win his 4th. Superman. The transfer portal in wrestling.
Yes.
We don't talk about it, but like you basically you can't have a smaller school with a good wrestler because you're going to get a year out of
not
them
for
and
more
then they're
than a year.
gone.
Not for more
Right.
than a year, right?
They're gone. And I mean smaller school like Indiana, Minnesota, even.
Well, even some of the other small powers like Lock Haven, Lehigh, when you think of
Yep.
programs that could breed great wrestlers or very good wrestlers over 2 to 3 to 4 years, they're just plucked after year one.
Ohio State's got a very young team. They're gonna challenge Penn State. Can they beat Penn State for a title? Maybe.
Ooh, Penn State's got 400 or 500 classmen on the rise too, Jim.
I think they can challenge.
I'm not saying that there won't be some more competition in the years to come. I'm just not sure it's.
But your Michigan can. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a Big Ten school, if you're one of the top
Yeah.
3 Big Ten teams, Cornell, Virginia Tech, also got some boys. Wrestling is on the come up, and maybe I'm just saying that because I'm biased, but damn, what a great tournament!
Also in the coverage too, right?
Yeah,
You had this on the ESPN networks all weekend.
I mean, I could do it without Cormier, but whatever.
it was the first time I like watched some of it because it was on. Like, it's not something
Yeah.
I've like sought out in the past to watch, and like I don't know enough about wrestling really to like seek it out. But because it was on, I was like, oh, it's interesting.
I also like the way that the coaching, and I'm not just saying Kale, I'm saying all of them are taking more of a NFL head coach approach where their assistants are coaching the matches and
Mhm.
they're tending to the families and they're more of a mob boss kind of thing where they're just pointing and networking the thing. It was cool. I liked it a lot.
Well, what happened with that one match I saw? And I don't remember what the outcome of it was, where they were saying the one guy wasn't out of bounds, he had a toe in, but the guy that was flailing out of bounds like tapped an assistant coach on the next mat with his foot.
Man, there's so many of that kind of shit.
Yeah,
that it's hard
I didn't
to-
see that specific match, but I don't it happened, I'm sure.
I mean, one finals match lasted 22 minutes,
Because of
23
blood time
minutes,
and
blood
challenges,
time and
right?
challenges. And I think that's
Was that-
part of the wrestling that needs to be fixed.
Was that the Dayton
133.
Fix match?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, there was some concerns after the match because people were booing him because it's like his 7th year and he doesn't
Well, and the
he
match
doesn't
before
wrestle
that,
he doesn't wrestle like an exciting brand of wrestling, so people were like,
his semi match was the same shit.
yeah.
Like he games the system a bit,
Mhm.
but it's fun. It's a lot more interesting now the way they got it set up.
A participant in the tourney bracket challenges is the athletic trainer for Arizona State's wrestling program.
Listen,
Shout out,
I
Jess.
mean this. I'm going to tell my girls this. I'm going to tell any high schooler I meet. Athletic training, getting the athletes ready to go seems to be a field that you should get into. Starachi, I'm going to assume he has a blown out ACL. I'm going to just, as a novice, assume that. And that athletic director took him from the Big Ten finals to winning a national or winning the NCAA tournament to probably he'll be good to go for the Olympic trials.
Which start when?
The summer?
It's I think it's within the next month or two.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's because it's in State College. It's
Yeah.
at Penn State, and I think it's within the next like 6 to 8 weeks. So there's not a lot of additional time after all the stress that was put on it for the past weekend. So
Athletic training is the career choice.
Strength and conditioning, athletic training,
Mm-hmm.
that whole staff, right, around the maintenance
Wow.
and of the athlete before, during, and after competition.
And it's not going anywhere.
No, it's only going to continue to grow. I agree.
Yep.
Jim, we have some hockey news.
Number 1 seed Ohio State took down number 2 Wisconsin 1-0 to win the NCAA hockey title at the women's level to capture their second championship in 3 years.
I feel like that's interesting. That coming out of like Ohio, like it's not a huge hockey area. I feel like compared to a Wisconsin or
Right. Especially if, look at the Blue Jackets. But yeah. Very impressive for the girls hockey team. You hear that, Columbus? A girls team won a national title. We should probably make that a bigger deal. Dicks.
In football, Mike Williams signs with the Jets, putting the following players in their offensive lineup next year: Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Breece Hall at running back, Garrett Wilson at wide receiver, Mike Williams at wide receiver, and they signed offensive tackle Tyron Smith from the Cowboys to help protect Aaron Rodgers. Do we think the addition of Mike Williams and Tyron Smith is going to make a difference in this attack, or are the Jets going to continue to be the Jets?
I don't know.
If
Because
they
of
can
the
stay
injury.
healthy, if they can stay healthy, they can make some noise.
Yeah, because
that's
of
also depend on Aaron Rodgers. I think.
is he running for president? Did we squash that?
First out was vice president, and no, he's not. He hasn't been tapped, Jim.
Okay. I mean, he's been tapped, but
Go on, Jim. Explain.
whatever he shoves up there in his dark room.
You have any speculation? Is this what a Brazilian blowout really is?
This could be ayahuasca in the poop chute.
Okay. Saints sign Chase Young, taking a possible chance as he'll be going through a neck procedure that will sideline him through training camp with the expectation he'll be ready for the start of the season. Do we think this is a positive move for the Saints, or is this a risky move?
The financials on it make it an okay move, right? Like they didn't sign him to an over the top deal.
Correct.
No, I think it
wasn't
was just the
outrageous.
1 year, and the Saints were like grossly over the cap. But still, to get him, I mean, now you got him on one end, and you got his name's Cam Jordan
Cam
on the
Jordan.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Deion Jordan, but I'm like, that's not right.
Cam Jordan, Jordan Cameron.
Yeah. So him and Cam Jordan right now, that's gonna be a hell of a pass rush for anybody to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But again, with the Saints being over the cap, it's going to have to be what else can they get? I mean, if Derek Carr maybe restructures that massive contract of his, and can they get some more weapons down there for him and Kamara?
Could be good. The Tush Push will be around for at least the brotherly shove, the Tush Push, at least for another year, as there will not be a push to eliminate for the upcoming season. As this was not being pursued, do we think that Jason Kelce retiring had anything to do with this? Or do we think this is going to potentially be addressed in another way with another penalty procedure or process, such as the Bush Push rule?
Well, fun fact, there is a rule in high school that prohibits this.
Is it the Bush Push process, or is it the rugby scrum?
It's the Bush push. There's no aiding the runner. You can't pull the ball carrier directly. So the way they told us to explain it to coaches is, if you have a running back behind the quarterback and you're going to run a quarterback sneak, no two-hand push directly in the back. He can push the pile, but he can't push the ball carrier.
Good. Do we think Jason Kelce retiring had anything to do with this continuing
No.
for another year?
Nope.
There's a lot of speculation that he was
I
a
think
big
it would have
reason
been
that it
funnier
worked.
I think it would have been funnier had they got rid of it and he retired. Because he's like, you know what? No
Yeah,
more tush
F
push. All right,
this.
I'm out.
Yeah, if I'm not allowed to tush push anymore, I won't be here.
This is what makes me relevant. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's like let's see if it was just an anomaly that it was so good because of him, or if this is actually something we should look into.
We will see. At least get another year of this. Netflix announced that their newest series followed pass catchers last season, including Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Are we excited to watch?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Excited. I don't know if that's the word.
What's the
Yeah, I
word
think
you
I'm
use?
most excited to see about Devontae and Jefferson. Devontae because the Raiders just flat out sucked,
Mhm.
and Jefferson because again the Vikings weren't anything special. But
They lost
especially once Kirk
Cousins.
went, once Kirk went down, what happened? Like, what was the mojo in the locker room? It's like, okay, now what? And then Jefferson was hurt for a little bit too.
Yeah. I'm interested for the Amon-Ra St. Brown because it's the Lions.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, them having cameras around is nothing new because weren't they just on Hard Knocks?
Yeah, you're right. So, be interesting to see that. Do you think they made a play for Travis Kelce?
I'm so glad
Uh,
that they didn't.
maybe,
It would
but
have been the Taylor
his
Swift.
ego. See, I feel like they probably didn't because he would have either been like all for it or all against it, and you would have heard about it. But I still think it's pretty neat that we didn't hear anything about it until Netflix was like, "Oh, by the way."
Yeah, I mean, I know that this is part of the Omaha Productions, I believe, was included with this as well. And I think
Yes.
Peyton had put out a teaser that something was happening, but he did not ever go into any detail about who was being followed. There was a
Yeah, I like
person
that they
or
were
position
able to keep
group.
it under wraps for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, in the NFL, they actually can because there's already so many cameras on the sideline. Like,
Mhm.
are you really going to notice unless they're like explicitly pasted with Omaha Productions and Netflix stuff on it? Like,
Right, if they have like
they're
a big
following.
Netflix N on their back or something, it's not
Uh,
like the replay guys wearing like the big bright blue or not blue. What did Jimmy wear? Oh, some of the replay guys had to wear like maroon or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah. So yeah, I will be interested to watch this. So definitely gonna take that in. I don't know when it's supposed to come out though. I'm
yeah, I don't
assuming
know if they said if they just teased it.
I don't know if they're teasing it for a pre-draft or a post-draft. I think for them it would probably make sense post-draft,
Mm-hmm.
just because there's some dead time in the world.
That's what I was gonna say. Right now, there's like hype for the draft, and then after the
Mhm.
draft, it'll die until training
Yeah.
camps.
And lastly, in the fighting world, Igor Severino was unceremoniously released from the UFC after a short fight over the weekend that didn't even get to the end of round one as he bit his opponent, Andre Lima. Severino was disqualified, but Lima then got the last bit of fame on this as he not only had the bite, but also got it tattooed within 24 hours, which Dana White then informed him he would raise his fight bonus from 25K to 50K.
I mean, that was a bite.
Yeah,
There was no denying that. Like, oh, my
Yeah,
teeth
no.
just grazed him. Like,
Hey, that was stupid.
How did he get
yeah.
that awesome of a bite with a mouthpiece?
that's how hard it was.
Or that it's like how the hell did that not draw blood? I mean, those were clear as day.
Well, probably because of the mouthpiece. I'd say like taking away the sharp edge of the tooth would be my guess. But
I mean, do they wear mouthpiece on the top and the bottom, or just the top?
that's a good
Typically,
point.
it's just the top.
We only tell people to wear them on top.
There you go. From dental professional, they only wear mouthpiece on the top teeth.
Boom.
There it is.
So what is it? The bottom teeth just don't matter?
No, but if you're, I mean, you could wear it on the top or the bottom, but
It's probably more for the impact between the teeth.
it's more for, yeah, the impact. You're not usually biting people.
You're
That's
right.
fair.
It's more the impact of it. And if like someone hits you or you like hit your head, you're gonna hit off of the mat, like the
Been made
guard.
abundantly clear that biting is frowned upon.
We didn't already know from Mike Tyson.
I have some fight things that I want to bring up that I should have put in the notes that I'm refreshing my brain here. One, Ronda Rousey's coming out saying that she had to leave the fight game for concussions that she had during judo, and that she couldn't tell people this in the UFC or in the WWE. Do we believe she suffered a ton of concussions in judo?
Yes.
Okay.
I do believe that she suffered concussions. Do I know how many? Do I know the severity? No. But judo is a lot of throwing, like forceful throwing you to the ground. So I mean, I can understand how that could have happened. Yes.
Oh, you can get your bell rung repetitively.
Do we
I
think
want to know
that
why
her-
did she say she can't disclose it?
because she thinks that they would pull her out of the sport.
So she's more worried about being in the sport than her long-term health.
That's
Well, she was a trailblazer in the sport. I mean, she was the person who brought women's fighting to the forefront. So I mean,
But
there's probably
why
a lot
bring
of
it up
pride behind
now?
that. There's probably a documentary coming out. Let's be honest.
She
Or
is
there's
selling
probably
a
a lot
book.
of noise.
She's
There's probably
selling a
noise
book.
for her to get back
Yes.
into something.
Yeah, she's selling a book, so it's in the book. So we have to preface this so that we get people interested to buy the book.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
if she's all these concussions, I don't know how good of a book it's going to be.
yeah. It's a good
She
point.
has a ghost
I
writer.
take issue with her bringing it up. I think that it's
Bring it up, or that if it's in the book, or both.
the whole thing. I think that are we saying then that they didn't test her cognitive ability in either?
Or is she trying to use it as an excuse for what happened later in her career when she started to lose?
Yeah.
Okay, I
be.
start sucking because
Yeah. That's the vibe.
Does it matter?
If yes, and here's why, right? Professional wrestling, specifically WWE, has already taken a lot of heat. If you want to come out and be like, "Hey," and she does, "Hey, it was a bad place. They are bad people." Cool. Or if you want to say, "Hey, I had a lot of concussions from UFC and judo, and they ignored it when I went to WWE because they wanted to make money." All right, but then to go, "Hey, I didn't tell anybody about my concussions while I was in the UFC, and that's why I had to retire." Rhonda, you didn't really have a lot of concussions. You got knocked out once. Like, you kind of just lost and went away.
Well, I mean, just from a concussion standpoint, who knows how that impacted
Yeah, I
her
know.
in training and
You got to be passe about it because you can't talk shit about concussions. It's like you get
well, I just
blackballed.
don't know. Like, yes, you
I
only
get
saw
it.
on the performance, but how did that impact her training? How did it impact her like cardiovascular health? How did it impact everything? It
It comes
potentially
off
could
very
have.
bitter.
Oh no, I agree and understand that. I'm just curious about how it's going to be framed in the book.
All right, I'll switch gears. The last thing I want to talk about: Tyson and the Paul brother. How we feel about that as a podcast?
Well,
I saw some things that I don't know if they're really true or not that are like handicapping this really in Paul's favor.
Go ahead. What did you say?
Like apparently that his brother is there and like he can tag in or whatever.
I saw that too. I don't know if that's
the
legitimate.
tag team match. Who's Tyson gets
Yeah.
to tag in?
Evander Holyfield.
Yeah.
I know that it is a exhibition match, so like there'll be a legitimate fight card, and then announcement will come on. We probably won't see it on Netflix, but an announcement will come on to the crowd that says this is a unsanctioned, non-sanctioned, whatever the athletic commission needs to say, listen, we got no blood in the game here. This is not us. So to end the legitimacy of the night. So whatever happens, will it be legitimate? Ugh. It is on Netflix. It's their first foray into live sports. So is it going to be rigged? Probably. It is boxing. But let's pretend for a second that it's not. 50-year-old Mike versus Jake Paul?
Yes.
Who wins?
I'm literally hoping that Mike just knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
won.
I don't see Mike being the kind of guy that they're like, "Hey, Mike, we'll give you all this money if you take a dive here and let him beat you."
He's gonna be like his pride's too big.
No, I'm not gonna let him knock him out. I'm gonna knock him out.
I don't know that when the bell rings, Mike
Stupid.
stops. Like, I think he has PT. He's 57 years old.
I'm not messing with him.
Well, right, and I agree. I don't want to get punched by the man either. I will say though, just from a standpoint of we don't know, the clips that you see of Mike are about 5 to 10 seconds long. So all Mr. Paul has to do is run around the ring and tire him out, and then he could probably just continue to go in and out and hit him with a punch and then just run away.
But that was the mindset that they had of young Mike. Just avoid Mike, and Mike cut the ring off then.
I understand then is 30 plus years ago, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, Jake Paul is 27. He is 57. That's a 30-year difference.
Right.
I think Mike still has the punching power that if he hits him once.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that. We see the 5 to 10 second bursts in these clips, but we don't know what happens after those bursts. Does Mike have to take 2 minutes?
We'll find out, I guess.
We will find something out.
It doesn't come down to that. Like, if you want to be the baddest guy in the room and say you want to take on Mike Tyson, even though he's in his 50s or whatever, it's like, I hope you're not just going to run around the ring and try to run away from him like a game of freaking tag.
Tickets aren't even on sale yet, and 75,000 people have signed up to access the pre-sale tickets.
What are the odds on somebody getting bit?
I hope someone loses an ear.
July 20th is
Is
the
there
fight.
going to be a tiger in the ring?
So here's my question. If it's unsanctioned, right? Will we be able to bet on it? I'd say no, right?
Oh, they'll put a line out there. It doesn't matter if it's sanctioned or not. They're gonna let you bet on it.
Do we bet on it?
You bet on the favorite. That's who you bet on.
Ugh. I think it's the sketchiest thing that, like, here's another question for the boys. Does this save boxing?
No,
Do things like this save boxing?
Jake Paul's
No.
been trying.
You all say no. Why not?
I almost don't
Because-
consider this boxing.
No, I
again?
consider. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I'm just saying, like, when I think of like boxing, like in this is more of like a entertainment thing. Like, and I know it is like boxing, but it's entertainment. Like I don't know if watching this is gonna be like, you know what, that was really legitimate. I want to watch more actual boxing.
So
And
this
more
to you is like
nuance.
WWE.
You know, in a sense, yeah. Or like the golf tournaments where they're like,
The match.
yeah, it's something like that to me, which like doesn't necessarily translate into me deciding I'm gonna just watch like every golf tournament on the weekend now.
Okay.
It just means like, oh, that wasn't. I might have like a more of a respect, and be like, oh yeah, that was really cool about boxing to do, but it doesn't necessarily make me into the sport.
Right, and for me, it's like Jake's going out and saying, "Okay, I want to fight so and so who has maybe a little bit of a boxing background." Like, this is really the first time he's fighting someone that's actually has a full background in boxing. I mean, we know Mike Tyson. Everybody knows who Mike Tyson is, but it's like, oh yeah, now I'm going to go fight this guy that used to be in the UFC for a few years, and then now I'm going to fight this person. It's like, if you really want to save boxing, if you're as good as what you're putting out right now, go and actually join boxing and go fight guys that have been training as long or for a decade or so. Don't just go and say, okay, I'll box you, but here's my stipulations. We're going to do this instead of that.
So, and this is my last question. Why don't the three of you watch boxing?
I think MMA has spoiled us.
Yes.
I just don't
And
even ever know when it's on or anything. Like if you were like, hey, do you want to come over watch boxing and eat wings? I'd be like, yeah. Like I'd be into it. It's just like I just never really. I don't know anyone who's fighting right now. Really, I don't.
Yeah.
All the
No, when
major
it's
fight
on.
cards are like all these huge pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you can at least ESPN with MMA and what used to be with Spike TV and all of that. Like you were able to watch MMA. Every person was able to watch it on like regular cable TV.
Yeah.
There is boxing on regular cable TV, but it's on like Friday nights. Like there's no prime time as far as, oh my God, we're building up to it. It's like, oh, the people
Right.
that know that boxing's on are going to watch it, but nobody else cares.
Yeah, like
Right.
the MMA, the prelims are usually on ESPN.
Yeah.
So MMA is more accessible to you.
Right, I would say it's more accessible, and I think not only that, but again, when I say that it's spoiled us, it's like, okay, now we're used to watching these guys like pretty much all things go, where you're seeing punches, you're seeing kicks, you're seeing grappling, whereas boxing can seem kind of stagnant because all you're going to see is punches.
Right.
Gotcha.
And these major championship fights are like 12 rounds, where the MMA is 5 championship fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's better. I think MMA is way better advertised and like publicized. So I
But
know.
and you see more action. Whereas boxing, it's like, okay, does he fall into the ropes? Does he fall down? Whereas, okay, now you got him pinned up against the fence. Now you've got him down on the ground, or it's like, oh, now you got him in a chokehold. It's like there's just more things that can happen in MMA than boxing.
Fair enough. Thank you for entertaining this fighting segment of the podcast.
Okay, real quick.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of boxing, Jim, check your inbox on Twitter.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Quick update in women's action. Baylor's on top of Virginia Tech 50-49 with a minute to go left in the third. And on the men's side, Alabama's up 10 on Grand Canyon with the game about to end. UConn is up 24 over Northwestern about halfway through the second half. And Houston is beating Texas A&M 30-27 with about 5 minutes to go in the first half. Any other sports news for the week, gents?
I can't think of anything. I think we covered it all.
All right. As a reminder, we'll be putting out some updates about what's going on with the tourney bracket challenges. Make sure you engage with us on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding ding.
And as always, tell a friend, make a friend. Be